Frogs around the world are disappearing.
One of the big reasons frogs are in crisis around the world right now is due to chytrid fungus, which is spreading worldwide and is just decimating frog populations everywhere.
In the late 1990s, the fungus arrived in the Sierra Nevadas and has caused lots of problems for those populations.
But the amphibian crisis is being combated right here in the Bay Area. I'm going to take you behind the scenes at Oakland Zoo and show you how zookeepers here are raising a certain kind of tadpole into a healthy frog.
Frogs and other amphibians are in crisis right now, and I think zoos have a unique role in doing something about it. At the Oakland Zoo, we're working with the mountain yellow-legged frog and giving it all of our resources, staff, and experience to help.
We have 3 subpopulations of Sierra Nevada yellow-legged frogs here on site. Some of them represent populations that no longer exist in the wild.
The Sierra Nevada yellow-legged frogs are one of the most endangered species in America. And the yellow-legged frogs actually used to be very common 100 years ago. Supposedly, if you were walking around lakes in the high Sierra Nevadas, you'd have to watch out where you were walking because there were so many of these frogs jumping around.
These rare frogs, which are nearly extinct, are now taking up residence inside the Biodiversity Center at Oakland Zoo.
95% of the range is found within the state of California, and they're disappearing at an alarming rate.
Zookeepers suit up inside the building and enter a quarantine lab where the amphibians live to ensure that none of the animals are exposed to anything harmful.
Only a certain handful of people here on zoo site are qualified to take care of these frogs. The state is very strict and has a lot of oversight on who's taking care of these valuable animals.
After nearly a year of preparing for tadpoles and undergoing a lengthy permit process, the highly endangered tadpoles were collected from the wild by a permitted biologist. The precious cargo was then transported to Oakland Zoo, where they tested positive for chytrid fungus.
We're treating them for that fungus, which is actually fairly easily to treat. We're going to be raising them to a certain adult size. Then we're going to be treating them for resistance against the chytrid fungus before they go back.
And besides fighting off the fungus, these little guys don't grow as fast as many other frog species.
They're going to spend 2 to 3 years as a tadpole. They're going to spend about 4 to 5 years as a juvenile before they mature into an adult. So they can live anywhere from 15 to 20 years.
You might be wondering, why all this effort to save a frog? These little fellows serve an important purpose in our environment. Scientists call them bioindicators. And when frogs start dying, that means something is wrong in the environment.
They're food for birds, fish, snakes.
Frogs and other amphibians are a huge indicator that something is wrong with the planet right now.
And they also help scientists unlock key research for curing diseases.
The public should care about the frog crisis because frogs have played an important role in discoveries of new medicine for humans, from antibiotics to anti-cancer drugs.
About 10% of the Nobel Prizes in physiology and medicine have been awarded to researchers whose work depended on amphibians.
Oakland Zoo is playing a critical role in saving the Sierra Nevada yellow-legged frog. However, amphibians across the planet need help, and that's why zoos and conservation organizations like Save the Frogs are getting involved to educate the public and spread the word about the frog crisis.
A lot of those frogs that are being sold in pet stores are wild caught. A lot of them are from faraway places.
One of the theories behind the spread of chytrid fungus around the world is the pet trade. So if you are releasing your frog out into the environment and it's chytrid positive, you could be setting something in action that you don't even know the consequences to. They're some of the most ancient life forms here, and boy, it would be really sad to see them disappear.
Besides the yellow-legged frog program, Oakland Zoo is active in the Head Start program for the western pond turtle and the Puerto Rican crested toad. Still to come, did you know Oakland Zoo is the only facility in Northern California that can treat sick condors? Find out how many California condors were treated for lead poisoning in the last year at Oakland Zoo, and how these webcams are helping biologists reach sick birds faster.